Just like I did with the UI, I like to have some kind of plan going in as far as the domain model goes. This is a great opportunity to, again, put your kind of ideas on paper or use a program. I'm using a program called Lucid Chart here, which is free. And just, again, to get an idea of what you're going to do with the domain model. This doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, what you're looking at now is probably going to change for me. This is just an opportunity to put some ideas down and get a head start on what your domain is going to look like. So let's talk about this. Back to the UI, we had this idea of a link, right? So a link is going to have an ID, a title, a URL, created by who created that link and when they created that link. That link is created by is going to be a relationship to a user. So in a user, we'll have an ID, username, email, a hash password, the profile image, created on, and last modified on. We'll also have the idea of a comment, so you can comment on a link. And so inside that comment table, we'll have a primary key of ID. We'll have a foreign key back to the link for link ID. We'll have the actual comment, and then who created it and when. Finally, we'll have a vote. This allows a user to either upvote or downvote, and we'll have an ID, a link ID, a created by, and a created on. I just noticed that I'm missing some way to represent what type of vote that was, so we'll add something to that, and I'll get that exported. So then we also have a role, so users can have different roles in our system, whereas right away, I think there's just going to be a normal user role, but we might have an administrator role for some kind of back-end administration. But for right now, I think we'll just have a user role, and that's a many-to-many. So we'll have a user role table that is a foreign key back to the user and the role. So some of the things that you'll notice here, again, created by, created on, last modified by, last modified on. These are ways of auditing tables. So we'll probably get into, if we start to see these fields across multiple entities, I might walk you through what I would do there, and that's to create basically an auditable class that is aware of other classes that have an audit or a change to them. So that way we don't have to create all of these same properties across multiple classes. We can use one class and kind of extend that class or make it an auditable aware and be able to kind of punch those records into the database automatically. So we'll look at doing that as well. So this is the basic idea of the domain model. Again, this isn't perfect. I haven't actually written code against this yet, so it's probably going to change, but it just gives me a good idea of what it's going to look like. So I'll export this out for you. It may change a little by the time you see it, but I'll give you the finished version. Actually, I'll give you both. I'll give you my starting version, and when we finish this course, I'll update it and export that screenshot as well. So right now, you're probably looking at both if you wanted to kind of sneak ahead and see the finished version. With that, I think we have our plan as far as our app goes. We got a really good idea of what we're building here. So let's start building it, and we'll do that in the next lesson.